Okay, it's YouTube, right? So welcome YouTube. We're gonna take a look at Flan and talk about the new unit. Get some input. Yeah, unmute it here. Animation goes hard, like the fish. A little wink. It's cute. Design's awful. I hate it.
Landy wins the grand prize.
So it gives so degen now, but whatever. We live in a society, I guess.
Flan is over the moon by Landy's invitation.
Base stats, 114 speed, so not like a key opener. Decent chunk of attack. No CC, no CD, but we're going to talk about she gets guaranteed crit. 18 effectiveness, which helps with her S3 a little bit. Okay.
But her excitement quickly fades.
Yeah, I like the animation. It's cute. The fish and stuff. It's good. I like it. She's pretty solid though. Yeah, she looks solid. She looks solid. Obviously, I'm gonna pity. It's a limited unit, and you never know what they could do. The animations are really cool too. God, that's fucking awful. Whatever.
It seems Flan ended up discovering
Okay.
her own way to enjoy the trip.
Obviously, I'm a big Landy fan, so anything that's like pro Landy is good. So yeah, we talked about the base stats. She's got improve concentration, attack, and then spread his health. Not really solid attack is nice because you're going to be building damage on her, it looks like, from what they talk about. Fire Ranger threw me off a little bit with the design. I was not expecting Fire Ranger. Hey, you know, it is what it is. Epic7 is always going to have those, like, whack elements and stuff with the designs. Anyways. S3 attacks the enemy, decreasing defense for 2 turns. It's a single target. And increases combat readiness of all allies by 20%. A successful attack always results in a critical hit. 10 soul burn for ignore ER. And then it's damage, so if you're going to build her damage there, you're going to Mola, but yeah, there's no percent chance we have to Mola for. They couldn't choose Ice version because she's already in the game. Yeah, right. But no, it's whatever, it's funny. So this is a bridge for sure. We'll talk about how that implements into the rest of her kit later, but a decreased defense for 2 turns that also is synergistic with the rest of her kit. Single target, but because it's single target, because it's only death break and there's no strip either, so immunity, right? No strip, but she does get a soul burn effect on her S3 to ignore ER. So I not really need to build effectiveness on her if you're gonna just have those souls, but, you know, it's okay. Okay, so yeah, it's an okay S3 on its own, but you'll see how it plays with the rest of her kit. But definitely got that bridge effect going on, right? The CR push, 20%. This is the fish animation we talked about. Yeah. It's nice. See some damage. About 11k-ish. Oh, that was bad. Man, I'm gonna miss it here. 8 plus the 3 on Aureus. Yeah, it's about 11k, so okay damage. S2 is passive. At the start of the first battle, gains 3 focus, and then increases evasion by 50%, and then with focus 1 higher, increases evasion by additional 50%. So 100 for the first 100% evasion. Book user, well, she's a ranger, right? So not a book user, but her artifact is pretty good for her. So 100% evasion, right? Which is basically, you know, aside from your DDRs, your Shaltiers, and stuff like that, this is essentially a guaranteed, at least she stays on the board for, you know, 3 turns or a little bit. The thing is, it doesn't cost evade. When she evades, it doesn't, like, take focus, but after an ally uses a basic skill, consumes 1 focus, triggering a dual attack, and increases the combat readiness of the caster by 15%, which goes all the way up to 25 maximum. So she can push herself a quarter up the CR bar after a guaranteed dual attack when an ally uses an S1. So, like, this is going good with, and they'll show that in the demo, but this is good for, like, units that bring an extra turn, like Payruts, Rands, Knockwolves, where they can pull their S3, or pull their S2, and then instead of maybe using the other skill, they could use their S1, bring a dual attack, and then push up Flan as a bridge, right? Because she's putting up 25% on the CR bar. If you build her 200-ish speed, that's going to be enough to catch up to a 300 opener. So, it's pretty solid. It's a big cut. And not only that, but if you think about Death Break, like units that Death Break on S1, or if perhaps Flan sets up a Death Break using her S3, and then she pushes up her allies, right, 20%, and then she gets to use, one of her allies uses their S1, they bring Flan in, so now you're hitting 2 units, probably DPS, right? Obviously Flan's a DPS, and then the other unit you push up is probably a DPS at that lower speed. 2 hits on a Death Broken unit with DPS. They're gonna crit, and it's gonna do a lot of damage. So that's huge for sure. And then she gets this 3 times. I gotta see if she gets focused from her S1, but 3 times is huge. So you get 3 guaranteed dual attacks. I mean, if you trigger that twice, it's a 50% cut. 3 times, it's a 75% cut. That's huge. So yeah, that's pretty. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Obviously, what her S1 is kind of changes how good it is. Let's see. Yeah, so 100% evasion, so guaranteed to stay on the board at least a little bit if there's no Sheltier or something. She's a ranger too. I don't know if people are gonna be running Guiding Light. Seems kind of. She's definitely intended to use her artifact, but obviously any ranger can be put on Guiding Light, and that just adds another level of survivability. So wait, we saw that here. I just want to take a look at that. So obviously Veronica goes. It's a guaranteed crit, which only does 700. Okay, so it is 1700, and then Flan goes. Bang with the umbrella. Frame by frame, go crazy, and it does 20k. You know, or it was 16k, right? 16.5 ish. That's pretty big. That's big damage. Obviously, she's a guaranteed critter, so she's probably built like really high crit damage, decent attack, 0 crit chance, and that's gonna hit like a truck, especially with that attack buff which she gets from her artifact. So that's pretty legit. And that was Veronica bringing the Death Break there, but you know normally Flan could also bring her own Death Break and then have a follow up behind her. Attacks the enemy with a gun, 30% chance to stun for 1 turn. Good for Genoa. That goes up to 40%. Looks like. Always results in a critical hit, and then when used on the caster's turn, it's a Whopper. It's a name. Instead of Do Not Disturb, which attacks all enemies and gains 1 focus. So she gets 1 focus if she uses S1 on her turn, and then it's an AoE attack as well. Always results in a critical hit. So if the multiplier is the same for It's a Whopper, that's like huge damage, right? Because we've already talked about how much damage you're getting from Do Not Disturb on a Death Break, and then like if you talk about how much damage you get just out of Death Break, especially that S3 was hitting for like 11k, right? It's pretty big. It's pretty big, and the animation for its Whopper's cute too. I think it's like a pulling Landy from a Gacha machine or something. It's cute. Let's see. Yeah, always results in a critical hit. So you're building her 15cc, right? Which means you can just stack damage, and she doesn't need to be super high super high speed either, like Gala. So like you can stack even more damage than you're getting on Galas, right? Yeah, it's cute. It's cute. The claw machine. Yeah, got the Landy plushie. Very cute. That's pretty solid damage too. We'll look at the gameplay thing. The artifact. Okay, let's see. Crit damage increased by up to 30%. Wow. I believe, do artifacts go over cap? Yes, that crit damage for sure. I think artifacts might go over cap, so you could hit 380. If the caster attacks when it's not their turn, has a 50% chance to increase attack the caster. Is a whale artifact. It's a chance to increase the cat attack instead of an increase of attack. It's fine. It's always frustrating when these limited artifacts work like this. But, you know, up to 100% chance to increase attack before attacking. So, if it's attack when they're not their turn. So, basically, if you bring the dual attack, like if you're trying to trigger her passive, then you bring an attack buff before she attacks. And then she carries that attack buff into her turn, too. So, she's basically always going to have that attack buff. Obviously, you're running her with a more aggro or cleave focus comp, so this is going to proc. That's a pretty good artifact, kind of made for her. I got to think about other units. It's not really made for other units. I guess like SSB I see here if it attacks when it's not their turn before attacking. So you know SSB's S2, right? Is gonna proc the attack buff before she attacks. That's kind of cool. And then the crit damage. You know, obviously I think SSB is starting to have a part in this meta with some of these AOE attacks and stuff. We'll see. It's a personal discussion we've had in Oracles, which you should do in the Discord server if you haven't. Obviously the artifact's made for her, but I love seeing what people cook up on other units that the artifact is not made for. So we'll see how that goes with the meta. But yeah, I don't like whale artifacts. It always sucks, like stuff like 3F where you got a chance to proc, or Secret Art Sword Storm. It's always annoying when it doesn't proc. Sweet Miracle. But hey, you know, they gotta make money somehow, I guess. Maybe we'll pull a bunch of the artifacts. We never know. We didn't pull a single Gala artifact, so I'm not basing it off of that. But someday we'll pull an artifact. Activated once per turn. Yeah, I love the S3. S3 is really cool. And the S1 with the candy, or the Landy pull on the claw machine, it's cute. I like the plushie. Plushie's cute. Again, big Landy fan, so love seeing all that. Seeing the Landy love. Okay, here's the combat demo. Obviously, we saw stuff, so we're opening with Naquil, Veronica, into the BBK, and kind of intentional, showing off that Veronica. Not necessarily the buff, but we'll see. So Naquil's going to S3 and then probably S1, right, to bring the dual attack with Flan. So she'll push up 25% from that. So S3 strips. Aw, bruh. 0 ER BBK. Ooh. So there's the dual attack. That chunked out... How much? It looks like a bulky BBK. We're hitting for 14k and it doesn't even put the BBK at 0 HP. It's a weird build. So 14k on the BBK. It's pretty solid. Obviously, the Dispel would have procced from Veronica, but whatever. So he goes into this. Okay, we saw the damage from this. This hits for about 20k here. So we're gonna bring the Flan here. Bang, 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 and that's 20k dead. Easy money. And now she gets to take her turn and she'll get to push up Vildred. I wonder if they're gonna S1 or S3 with Vildred. Or RB. So S3 is the... No soul burn. Did she soul burn? She did soul burn. Okay, S3 soul burn the DDR. And we see the 11k damage there, right? So the 8k plus the 3 on Aureus. So 11k is fine. Hopefully you're still streaming when you make it to work. Yeah, I'll be streaming for about an hour here, so probably. Then, yeah, this goes, whatever. RB goes. Does he S1? No, he S3s. Okay, but he got gabbed too. Like, it's over. Yeah, and then you bring the dual attack, bang, bang. It's just pretty solid damage on the dual attack, so... Okay, it's a pretty solid unit. Again, I think that she's definitely focused on cleave with this skill too. And then also, like, she serves as a bridge, right? So she's going to work with units that can pull their skills, but then still S1 and then bridge with her, pull her in. So, you know, I think that there's a lot of potential for that. But she definitely doesn't seem to do anything really with standard. The evasion's nice, but there's a lot of counters to it if you're going to play slow. So definitely an aggro / cleave unit. But I do think she has some synergy with a lot of these other units. Obviously they showed Naquil, who got to S1, and then they showed Veronica, who got to S3, S1. So you're gonna have to pick units that specifically can S1 early and don't have to wait for a full cycle. Obviously I heard that you were talking about Harsetti with her S1, the Death Break, and a lot of people talk about, you know, you can hold Harsetti's skills. You hold her S1, or hold her S3, S1, Death Break, you Soul Burn, it brings Flan pushes, and then that's huge damage, it's huge damage. So we'll see. Obviously should have pushed with the Harsetti buff, but with the Harsetti S2, but it's a solid unit, Obviously it's a limited, so my advice is you should pull every new limited unit, and you should pull no new Covenant units. That advice holds true here. You never know what they could do, what they could change with her kit, if they could buff her or whatnot, so... definitely keep an eye out and pull for her. If you have to pick between her and Gala, though, I think I'm leaning towards Gala. I think that Gala's a lot easier to use if you play standard, and has a lot more utility in the current very takedown meta. Obviously, you've got Gala's issues. Gala has her own issues, but Flan here has her own issues as well. So, cool unit. Excited to try her out. But she comes out October 17th, so we'll keep an eye out for it there. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. I post a lot of RTA videos and stuff. And come see me on Twitch. I stream every day, Monday through Friday in the morning. So come check it out.